What is going on, guys? Johnny here, and I put up a thing over on my Instagram to see if you guys wanted to see a full day of eating, what I'm currently eating to get shredded, and a lot of you guys said yes, so here it is. So start of the day, obviously we'll be starting off with our breakfast. So we've got the scales here to weigh everything out. And yeah, so essentially my breakfast is an egg sandwich, well, a spiced egg sandwich, because I absolutely love spiced eggs. So we're gonna begin with, it's pretty much 120 grams of white sourdough, which I already have here measured up because I didn't wanna make the video just me cutting bread. So what I'll do is I'll throw the spare pieces that I'm not gonna use in the sandwich straight into the toaster and get them nice and warm. And so for our actual eggs themselves, I use 120 ml of egg white. That way it keeps the calories low as well as keeping the protein up higher. So we'll pour 120 milliliters into this for now, which we have there. Plus we get 2 eggs with it to get our fats up. Just like so. Crack them in, turn the fry pan on. And then pretty much, I'll just mix these up inside the cup like you would with an omelette. Because we essentially are just making an omelette, putting 2 pieces of bread in it, shutting it, and calling it a sandwich. All right, so once we've got that all mixed up nicely, we just pretty much pour it straight into the hot pan. I don't use any butter or oil with this because obviously that's just gonna increase the calories. So I just make sure I've got myself a really good non-stick pan essentially. So that way I don't have to use oils, don't have to use butters and everything. So I'm not just adding an excess of calories to all of my foods. And then for a bit of flavor, because I don't wanna just have it like that, I'll chuck some oregano on top. Not a whole heap. Toast is done. Chuck a little bit of paprika on top, as well as some cumin. And then top it off with some chili, which I do like a fair bit of chili nowadays. I find that the more that I restrict my diet as well, the more chili I use for all of my meals. And my tolerance has just built up so much over the dieting down phase that it's insane. I used to have the smallest bit of chili, be red, be sweaty, be just absolutely burning, but I actually quite enjoy it these days. So yeah, something new, gets your taste buds all different. And once the egg has started to cook at the bottom, but the top's still runny, that's when I chuck my pieces of bread straight on top. So then that way they have something firm to sit on. And then as the top also cooks, it holds the bread to the egg itself. So let that sit, let that do its thing, and then we'll flip it over, which toasts the outside of it before adding a little bit of sugar-free tomato sauce just for an extra little bit of flavor. And so it's pretty much ready. Straight in under it. And it should just flip as one whole, pretty much omelette. The bread shouldn't fall off it either, it should stick to it very nicely. Then I add about 10 ml of the sugar-free tomato sauce, which it's only about 12 kilojoules, which is practically nothing when you convert that to calories. I think it turns out to be almost 1 calorie or something. There's not much in it at all. And then from there, pretty much just close the sandwich up. And then I'll just regularly keep flipping it until both pieces of bread on the outside are toasted to how I like it. You guys might like it a little bit softer or a bit more toasty, but that's how I like it, nice and crispy. And so that is pretty much the amount of brownness that I'd put on mine and crispiness, so if you wanted to make it exact. And that is the breakfast completed. So I'm gonna get this into me now because it is definitely time to eat. I'm starving so much. So I'll see you all in 3 hours when it is our first snack. All right guys, so it has now been 3 hours, so it is time to eat once again. Because for me personally, once I get up in the mornings, hit 5 o'clock, I eat, and then it's 3 hours after that each time to keep the food up as well as the metabolism up throughout the day. So that's how we do it. So our next meal is, we've got ourselves some protein oats here, which is 80 grams of oats, 30 grams of protein powder, and then we have 10 grams of peanut butter, which I pretty much just put straight in my mouth because I don't like to mix it in with my oats because they are white chocolate flavored. And then I also have salted caramel, and I find that the peanut butter doesn't really go with those flavors, so I just prefer to take it straight as it is, essentially. This meal also varies depending on what I'm doing throughout the day, because say while I'm at work as a carpenter, I need to be quick with having my snacks between my breakfast, lunch and dinner. So for the snacks, which is obviously this, instead of making it into the oats, I'll just use the quick oats, put the protein powder in a shaker, mix it up with water, and pretty much just chug it, just get it down. So that is also an option. And then another option which I do if I'm gonna be meal prepping this in advance and I wanna be able to eat it instead of drinking it, because obviously eating feels much better than just drinking a shake, I'll mix it up fairly clumpy so it's sort of a goo, and just chuck it in the frying pan, turn it into a bit of a pancake. It's not the smoothest pancake, but it's still good enough to eat. Like you can peel it apart, pick at it, and I'll put the 10 grams of peanut butter, melt that, and just spread it over the top of it. So it's sort of like a peanut butter pancake, which on the go, really handy to have and just makes life so much easier. So yeah, that's meal number 2, protein oats with peanut butter. I'll see you all when it's lunchtime. All right guys, it is now time for lunch. So this is the meal that we have for meal number 3 for the day, which is pretty much just chicken and rice, your pretty basic bodybuilder's meal, or basic anything meal, bulking, cutting, maintaining, pretty much everything. So what we've got here is we've got 220 grams of cooked basmati rice, along with 120 grams of chicken breast, and 100 grams of greens. And the greens I've gone with today is cucumber, because I just prefer to have fresh cucumber with these sorts of meals. In some other instances, I might have some zucchini or I might have some beans, whatnot. Just depends how I'm feeling that particular week. And so with the chicken as well, to make it a bit more interesting, because probably sit there and no one likes to just eat bland chicken if they don't exactly have to. I know I will be eating bland chicken eventually, but at this stage, I just put a little bit of garlic on it, some soy sauce, as well as some Frank's hot buffalo sauce, I believe it is. And that only increases the calories by about 5 to 10 calories. But that's for the entire batch of chicken that I do cook. So really, once it's all been portioned out, I do 2 bulk cooks a week. So I'll do Sunday and Wednesday for the meal prep. And so pretty much over the course of 3 meals, it's only increased it by 10 calories maximum. So get away with it for now. But yes, that is essentially meal number 3. There's also some olive oil inside this dish, and that is 3/4 of a tablespoon, just so we can get some fat content into this meal, because otherwise there'd be no fats at all, pretty much. So that's meal number 3. Tastes really good. I do recommend doing that to your chicken. But yeah, anyway, I'll see you guys in the next meal. All right guys, so it's coming into meal number 4, which is our second snack of the day, which is actually the exact same as the protein oats. However, for the purpose of this video, I'm going to make the pancake type of thing, which I explained earlier, even though I usually would just have oats right now because I'm staying at home. So just for the purpose of the video, I'll show you guys what I would do if I had to prepare it to take it out somewhere. So it's 80 grams of oats, as mentioned before, along with 30 grams of protein powder, just like so. And then we'll heat up the pan. Make sure the pan's nice and hot, because obviously if you want to make pancakes, it needs to be somewhat hot. And then I just mix a little bit of water in to the oats. Now you don't want too much water with this, because if you use too much water, it's just gonna turn to liquid everywhere and it won't actually become a biscuity, pancakey type of goop. So as you can see, that's sort of the texture that it becomes. Sort of like a sludgy porridge. And then that practically goes straight into the pan, and you need to flatten it out with the spoon because it's not wet enough for it to take its own leveling, so you need to help it out a little bit with the spoon manually. As you can see, it takes a little bit of playing around, but it cooks extremely quickly when it's done this way. So that's pretty much done now. Only took, what, 2 to 3 minutes of cooking, and it's already finished. So it doesn't hold the absolute best in terms of holding its texture, because obviously the only thing that's holding it together is oats, water, and protein powder, so it doesn't actually have something to really hold it nice and firm, but it still works out, like it still holds good enough for you to be able to cake it around and eat it. And so once that's out, then I just get my peanut butter, because I'm about 10 grams of it. Chuck the spoon on the scale. There we go, 10 grams. Put it straight on, and then I just spread it around. Just like so. And then it gives me these little sort of pieces that I can pick at, pull apart, and just eat on the go, on the move, when I'm out and about. So that's why I do it that way if I'm not gonna be home, or if I'm not at work when I need to quickly smash back a shake. So that's how I do it. Not the most appetizing thing, but it tastes damn nice, but I'm not sure if that's just purely because my taste buds have adjusted to eating anything. So that is meal number 4. Meal number 5 coming up next, which is dinner. Okay, so now it is time for dinner, which is exactly what we're gonna be making right now, which is my absolute favorite. It is Kangaroo fried rice. If you guys have seen my Instagram, you know I'm always raving about it. It is honestly the ultimate meal for any phase during gaining, shredding, maintaining, absolutely anything. So what we've got here is 220 grams of basmati rice, along with 120 grams of kangaroo mince, and 100 grams of beans here, which are just the frozen beans, but once you chuck them in the pan, fry them up, they obviously cook themselves. So in the pan currently we've got the 3/4 of a tablespoon of olive oil for our fats for the meal. So we're gonna chuck this in there at the moment and let it start to cook itself before we start adding the other condiments to it to make this taste incredible. So flavor-wise, for the kangaroo fried rice, I like to make it with soy sauce, red wine vinegar, oregano, garlic powder, and chili flakes. And I find that that combination together really just brings out the best of this dish, because it's all super low calorie additives to it. Obviously the soy sauce is a bit higher in sodium, but I'm not currently monitoring that too intensely because it seems to be working for myself, so that's not to worry. So I'll always do about 3 tablespoons of the soy sauce with 1 tablespoon of the red wine vinegar. I just put the oregano in as much as I sort of feel like, same as the garlic. And then the chili, I do use a fair bit of chili because over the time, as I said earlier in the video, I've just become so resistant to the burn of chili that I just absolutely love loading it up with spice. So that's that. Anyway, we're gonna add all the condiments together, give it a mix up, let it fry, let it crispen a little bit, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. All right, so that is now made, as you guys can see, and this one I cannot rate enough. It is definitely a staple in my diet across the entire year. Even when I'm not dieting down for a prep or trying to like shred or anything like that, this will still be inside my diet. However, it'll just be an increased quantity because it's just so easy, so quick to make, and it's so multi-purpose. It's just a great meal all around. Highly recommend you guys try this out for yourselves. Definitely my favorite meal I've come across. Anyway, I'm gonna smash this because I'm absolutely starving because I've just trained. So get this into me and then we'll be up to dessert. All right guys, last meal of the day, which is dessert, of course. So we have it here, which is a casein custard along with 100 grams of blueberries and 20 grams of peanut butter. So as you guys can tell, this time 20 grams of peanut butter, so it's one of my more higher fat meals of the day, and the casein custard that we use is this one here. So it's vanilla flavor, and I like to add a little bit of cinnamon to it, so that way it has just a little bit of extra flavor to it, which goes down an absolute treat. So that is the final meal for the day, and that is exactly what I'm currently eating inside my diet for about 12 weeks out from a show. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, then don't forget to leave a like and drop a comment down below. And if you're new around here, hit the big subscribe button down below for more weekly content. And if you guys want to pick up some of this clothing that I've been wearing, which is one more rep, there'll be a link in the description below. Don't forget to click that, use code JONO10 to save some cash at the checkout. And I'll see you all next time.